fragrance from the fields I used to roam. When I dream about the moonlight on the wall dash, then I long for my Indiana home. Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see the gleaming candlelight still shining bright through the sycamores for me. The new moon haze sends all its fragrance from the fields I used to roam. When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, then I long for my Indiana home. Back home again, back home again, back home again.
Greetings, Indy 11 fans from high atop Carroll Stadium. John Cluter here joining you for the Central Indiana Honda Dealers post-game show following a disappointing 2-0 defeat at the hands of Louisville City FC tonight at Carroll Stadium. We're looking to be joined pitch side by Josh Mason and or interim head coach Max Rogers here soon as we sort out some technical issues. We'll kind of go over the lay of the land here from tonight's LIP AFC affair as we await word from pitch side. First 40 minutes pretty much controlled by Indy 11, went the home team's way, but Louisville kind of nicked one against the run of play in the 41st minute through old friend Antoine Hopino, who got on the end of through ball straight up Route 1 by Jorge Gonzalez. Eluded a sliding challenge from Carl Lamette, got past also Reveal Hackshaw, kind of in one fell swoop there, and was able to just beat Jordan Farr to poke the ball past the Indy 11 goalkeeper who came off his line, try to clean up the play to give Louisville a 1-0 lead. We now have Max Rogers pitch side, so we'll interrupt my soliloquy here and welcome in Coach. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got you, John, yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Max. Another tough defeat here at home. Unfortunately, things seem to be going Indy 11's way through much of the first half until Louisville kind of got one against the run of play. Kind of your thoughts on really how Indy 11 came out tonight and kind of control the first half up until the concession.
Yeah, I thought the lads were brilliant in that first half, and you know they executed what we wanted really well, and we obviously just couldn't find that finishing touch. And a lot of these games are who makes the least mistakes gets the 3 points, and that's been the case tonight. So, you know, it's a tough one, but we obviously need to pick up points at this stage of the season. But if we can have that intensity and sort of belief in the remaining games, you know, we give ourselves a real good chance. So, and then second half again, you know, I thought we started well, and then, you know, another sloppy goal, and then that obviously allows Louisville to defend a little bit deeper and hit us more in the counter-attack, so you always can get caught a little bit. But yeah, it's a frustrating night, but you know, we have to move on quickly, and you know, the next few games are against teams that are closer to us. So, you know, we want to make sure we respond now and go again on Wednesday.
You mentioned the word intensity. Rarely an issue in these games against Louisville, and both sides seem to relay that tonight through 17 fouls committed for each side. Not the cleanest match to watch. Talk a little bit about how that looked from your side. If you feel Indy 11 did match the intensity of the visitors, it did seem to go blow for blow throughout, but just on the scoreboard, Louisville got the side of it. Were you happy with the effort that the lads gave out there?
Yeah, definitely. That's never in question from these players in any of the games that I've been in charge with. It's just we haven't been able to, you know, finish the chances or take real care with that last pass to open up the scoring opportunity. I thought we did it well 2-3 times first half, but not enough considering the positions that we got into. And on the flip side to that, they did. So, but no, I mean the lads worked really hard, and they certainly kept going right until the end. And you have to give credit to Louisville. The way they saw the game out was very professional, and that always makes it difficult. And it's always a difficult game against them because they are a good side. But so are we, and we have to take the positives from that, and that we're matching them, and we're a better team for a long period of time. We just have to be ruthless in chances when we get them.
4 days until at it again down in Memphis. 4 games and I believe 14 days time against teams. The 3 teams we're fighting against for playoff position. How do you move this one aside quickly and get the guys to focus on really what's going to be a decisive fortnight here for the guys as we do battle against starting with Memphis, then 2 at OKC, then come back home against Atlanta. How do you get the guys ready mentally and physically to start that run off in 3 days' time?
Yeah, we have to move on quickly. Obviously, touch on things from this game that were good because we want to have them, in our performances going forward. But obviously the next few games are different opponents, different venues and whatnot. So, but we have to move on quickly, and there's some good experienced players in there that will help the group do that. And as I said, we have to respond and react. And every time that we haven't got the result we wanted, all the players have reacted in the correct manner. And everyone needs to do that again.
Appreciate the time, Coach. We will talk to you Wednesday as we head down to Memphis. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean. Cheers.
Cheers. That was interim head coach Max Rogers after tonight's 2-0 defeat to Louisville City FC. And needless to say, will we be joined by Josh Mason, I wonder? There he is.
Indeed.
Josh Mason, pitch side, joining us. I was going to say, you never like losing to your rival, obviously.
Never.
This one evens things up at 1-1-1 through the first 3 LIP AFC meetings of the season. And again, rivalry games for the fans count more. For the players, it's simply another opportunity of 3 points is what they'll often tell you. So I'll go with the company line here from the team side on that. But in reality, 3 points tonight against Louisville is somewhat of a bonus. What you're looking for is these head-to-head contests that line up back to back to back to back against Memphis, a couple against OKC, and then back home here on October 2nd against Atlanta. Those are the 6-pointers. This was not a 6-pointer. This was a chance to nick 3 points against division leader, a team you've had some success against this year. But at the end of the day, it stings because it's Louisville, but it's not going to be the most detrimental result of the season.
No, granted, you want to take all 3 points when you're at home. This is your one opportunity to, obviously from a fan's perspective, nobody wants to play for the point. Nobody wants to walk away with nothing. So, especially on tonight, I'm sure you've already mentioned, obviously, with Carl Wilmette's 100th game, there's a little bit of extra energy in the building.
We did not, so thank you for hitting that.
Oh, so apologies if I missed what Coach may have had to say in that capacity. But with Carl's 100th game tonight, hopefully we'll have an opportunity, if you haven't seen the TIFO that was displayed by the BYB this evening, what a great testament to Carl and his 100 games here at the club. Stay tuned for more information how we'll do something more formally in the future for him. But I hate, to your point, losing to Louisville at home. This is not the place you want to do it, but I have to admit at least our road performance against them this year has given me a sense of hope and encouragement, knowing we have one more left to play with them. And to be fair, how often are you going to see a division leader like this in the same season 4 times? So, the home and away contest of looking forward to 2022 and beyond makes it much easier for us to have a true LIP AFC in the way we'd like to have them here at Indy 11. But kudos to the guys tonight. There was no give up or lack of effort on the pitch this evening.
And that's what Coach Rogers alluded to. He's and from up here, high above Carroll Stadium, I think Indy 11 was able to match the intensity. It got ugly early. Let's face it. I'll admit I had a running bet with paid, not bet, because in the spirit of full disclosure, front office members in the USL Championship are not allowed to bet on anything soccer-wise. So I say in jest, I had a bet with Paige down at the fourth officials table, who's our red hat here within the 11, does a fine job keeping us up to date on clarifying everything down on the field. So Paige Ziegler, hats off to you. But there was a running bet in jest about which number 29 was going to see the game's first yellow card, because it seemed like Manuel Arteaga and Antoine Hopino were in a race to do so during that first half. And ended up being Arteaga getting a persistent infringement early in the second half. But actually, Paulo Del Piccolo got the game's first yellow card late in the first half. It was a typical rivalry affair. It was not pretty. I think both teams almost ensured that it wouldn't be through lots of kicking each other, especially in the first half. I think, and I'll look at the Opta stats here. Fouls conceded were really even, 9 by each team in the first half, 8 by each team in the second half. But I think Louisville really did a good job of using their fouls in the second half to slow the game off, kill the game off. Coach Rogers alluded to the fact that how they just so professionally killed the game off, and to great effect. Just how effective was it? Indy 11 didn't get a shot off the last 40 minutes. Gershon Kofi shot from about 20 yards that forced Chris Hubbard into a save in the 50th minute. Was the only shot for Indy 11 in the second half. So Louisville did as good a job as you're going to see of closing ranks, getting in front of guys, making sure there were plenty of bodies between the ball and Chris Hubbard's net. And really, you hate to admit it, but that's the type of performance you're going to see at top of the table club throw in the lockdown on the road. Josh, you were involved a lot on the game presentation part of things. I'll ask you, how is the atmosphere in the stands tonight? And grandstand looked pretty good. Louisville fans were a part of that, bringing a good contingent here to the mic. Talk about the atmosphere off the field tonight.
Great. Obviously, I said with Carl's 100th game, that brought a lot of energy in the building. I was glad they had something ready for him as part of the evening. As far as great that the Coopers come down. I love when we get to travel both directions. I think it really helps build soccer in the Midwest and making it a premier place to watch soccer. Great atmosphere tonight. Obviously, we've come off a hard run of games, at least here at Carroll Stadium. We have a little bit of a break before we get back into it in the month of October on the 2nd for our next game, at least here. But the one thing I'll call out, John, that the next two pivotal games against Oklahoma City, I guess the pause and delayed game, or the energy-less game, if you will, and the upcoming normal UKC Energy game coming up will be crucial. Those 6 points can make or break us on the table.
And as we take a look at the live scoreboard here, Birmingham 1, OKC 1, as the match heads into extra time in the second half down in Birmingham, BBVA Field. Actually, technically, it's about 15 seconds away, as the Opta Stats tracker has, but we'll see how that one folds out. Will not be the worst result. It will keep OKC within puncher's distance here as we go to the live standings. Other scores as well that affect Indy 11 on the evening. Tampa Bay Rowdies with a 2-0 lead in Kennesaw, Georgia against Atlanta United 2, so that helps out our boys in blue. Austin Bold leading on the road at Tulsa 1-0 as that one hits the hour mark at One OK Field. So results as they currently stand, mostly going about as well as you can expect if you are an Indy 11 fan. That point, if OKC Energy can hold on to that tie, would put them on 31 points, leaving us continuing to be tied with Atlanta United 2 on 29 points, still within one win of taking over that last playoff spot. Again, the key thing to remember, Indy 11 with one game in hand on both of those squads. That will be made up midweek in Memphis. Memphis, I believe, takes the field tomorrow at New York Red Bulls 2. That's a 1 o'clock matinee on the East Coast out in New Jersey. So really, it could end up a lot of no harm, no foul tonight if those results can stand. So we'll probably get off the air pretty quickly here. I'm doing to make some comments here. Our friend Ian Gilmore missed these game nights. Come on, you boys in blue. Appreciate our old friend Ian up at Michigan State now after his term here in the summer. Then Indy 11 UK, again, staying up across the pond. We appreciate you, Tom. The back-to-back OKC games are now huge, and we mentioned that. But before we get to that one, and I apologize if I'm mixing up the OKC and Memphis games. I do believe it's Memphis first coming up this Saturday night. Let me confirm that here. Josh?
I can. It's easy to do so. If you go right into the Indy 11 app, a couple things I'd like to point out feature-wise. It's a guy who spends a lot of time on this. Wednesday, September 22nd, we're away at Memphis 901 FC. And if you're in the app and you're in schedule, if you actually go in the app and go to recap within any given game day, you will see the live Opta stats as it relates to this evening's performances. So if you're curious about shots on goal, shots on target, amount of possession, who had the yellow cards, what was the game structure look like, all that is here inside the Indy 11 app, all in real time for you to use as part of your game day experience.
I'll say those back-to-back OKC games are huge. Yes, don't discount this Wednesday's game at Memphis, who has been just because of they played 3 or 4 games less than everyone up until this point. And it's been that way for a good month and a half or so. It seems like they've just been kind of quietly lurking in that 7th position, but with multiple games in hand. Their October is frankly just silly. I think they have something like 7 games in 3.5 weeks' time to close things out. It's nutsoid. So it gives them a lot of opportunity, but it's also going to be such a crowded fixture schedule. It'll be interesting to see what Memphis can do out of that. So, again, don't discount Wednesday night's game. You can watch that 8 p.m. That will be the 3rd of 4 away broadcasts this year on My Indy TV 23. As always, you can catch it on ESPN Plus as well. And you can follow live on at Indy 11 Live, Twitter feed presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers. Also presented by the Central Indiana Honda dealers is this post-game show, which will wrap up not until we get to Alex Dunphy. Your comments. It felt like watching Phil Coulson die. I don't get the reference. You have to educate me on that, Alex. Maybe we'll see the Avengers come together next time. Again, not a big movie guy. Nothing against him. I don't think Nick Moon fits as a defender in this system. It's that wide role. It's hybrid. It's part defender, part midfielder. I think we saw him up on the front line. I believe his last start, or a couple games ago. So I don't think he's necessarily sharpied into the lineup at that defender / midfield wide right role for the squad. I think what he offers, his swashbuckling ways on the dribble in that attacking half. I think you get some of that where he is in that role out wide right. Doesn't mean that it's not effective. You put him on that front line of 3 either, but I think what he's able to offer is viable from both of those spots. It'll be interesting to see with some match congestion of our own here with 4 games coming up in, I believe it's 15 days' time, how that roster management goes from Coach Rogers, how deep he's able to get into the bench. We saw Patrick Seegers come back tonight. That was a good sign for the squad. Kofi as well has been a little nicked up in recent weeks. Good to see him give a full 90 performance on the evening as well. So, Josh, any closing thoughts from the field as we wrap tonight up?
A couple. First of all, let's talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. Who is tonight's Grant Park man of the match?
Look at you and your graphics.
We are here to be fancy
Look
as
good.
part of your post-game experience. So, Grant Park man of the match. Who's your guy tonight, John?
I kind of want to give it to Arteaga just because of the fouls he committed and the fouls he suffered. He was certainly our antagonist, I think, on the evening as it played out. I'll go ahead and give it to Manuel.
Okay.
It's that being said, with 5 shots on the evening, it's a little difficult to give it to someone of the attack, but I think just the way he embraced the rivalry tonight, I'll give it to Manuel. Yours?
I'll give you two, and for different reasons than probably you're looking at it from. Number one, I'm going to give it to Matt Watson. I want to thank Matt Watson for coming in for Cheers to Indy tonight. I think the fans were really happy to see him back in the building. I was trying to say, when you bring a guy like that back to the building, you're trying to shake off some mojo, put some good out in the world for one of your guys that used to put on your boys in blue and represent you. Hopefully, fans appreciate him being here tonight. And you know what? I'm going to give it to Jordan Farr for blasting a goalkeeper kick into a player. Completely unintentionally, by the way. It really did seem. If you guys actually knew Jordan as a human, you know he is. I don't think outside of being on the pitch, he has a genuine opportunity to really ever want to hurt anyone. But I had to find a slight bit of humor in the yellow card in that this evening. But to your point, I think if I were to give it for true things, Arteaga definitely showed, and a little bit of Hackshaw too. It showed a little bit of the grit on that back line tonight in terms of what we like to see out of our boys in blue.
You know, at the end of the day, in all likelihood, probably gave it to Carl Woodmat for joining the Indy 11th Century Club on the player side. With his 100th cap in official competitions tonight, he joins Don Smart right on that 100 number, and he's now chasing only one man, and that's the legend, number 4, Brad Ring, who leads the club in all-time caps on 115. We'll end the Central Indiana Honda Dealers postgame show on that note. Remember, My Indy TV 23, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m., Boys in Blue go down to AutoZone Park to face Memphis 901 FC. You can also catch that one streaming live on ESPN Plus, as well as following all the action on Twitter via Indy 11 Live. So for Josh, this is John. Thank you for joining us tonight. See you back here at the mic October 2nd for a big one against Atlanta United. Until then, keep following us online and watching us on ESPN Plus and My Indy TV 23. Take care, all.
Cheers.